We are with King Bootoshi, founder of an AI agency called Agency 42.
That is the hardest piece of the equation that humans solved in the last 2 years. Like, bro, you gave a brain to a machine. This is only gonna get better. I need to hustle and learn as much as I can now.
Someone can now do what it used to take 50 people to be able to do. If someone wanted to get into AI and be on top of this space more, what's sort of your advice for people that are listening?
I would say the first thing you could do is...
What's up, guys? We are with King Bootoshi. He is a founder of an AI agency called Agency 42. He's one of the best vibe coders I've personally seen, and we're gonna do a quick interview with him and learn a little bit more about the AI space and where he thinks things are going. First things off, man. First things off, how did you even get into AI and Web3?
Web3, I've been in it since, you guys familiar with NBA Top Shot?
That's how I got into NFTs.
Oh yeah, that's also how I got into NFTs. So when COVID hit, I started hustling by doing sneaker reselling. Just reselling in general during COVID was insane because of the stimmies. Every reseller somehow ended up in NBA Top Shot because these Discord groups would give information check this out, and then it's like a heroin needle to your veins, and then you get introduced to crypto, and that's the gateway drug. And I've been a crypto trader for the last couple of years, and Bitcoin ordinals dropped, which are digital collectibles on Bitcoin. That dropped February 2023, around the same time that ChatGPT 3.5 came out.
Yeah.
So I discovered both at the same time, became a project founder on Bitcoin. I was like, oh, I want to make this cool. Because I would shit talk a lot of ETH projects.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how do I not be all talk? And I discovered ChatGPT, and I was like, yo, I could use this to bring my projects to life. Because my project were a bunch of these pixel characters. So I had a whole story in my head, and I used AI to animate these characters and give them personalities and life and an AI soul to make my story interactive. That was one of the earliest AI projects I've done. And that's how I got into it. And then I just got hooked. I just got addicted. I'm like, oh my God, this is how decent I could finally talk to a machine that understands my language and talks back to me. This is only gonna get better. I need to hustle and learn as much as I can now. So by the time the next model comes out, I have more knowledge to squeeze out of the new model. And then I ended up getting in this loop where it's a new model would come out, I would get smarter from using this model. A new model, I would have more experience. A new model would come out, and it just kept ping-ponging. And now we're at the point where I could vibe code an insane product in 5 minutes.
Dude, that's awesome, man. And there's so much. We were talking before this podcast about how there's a lot of misinformation in the AI space, and I just wanted to hear your sort of hot take on AI and where you personally think it's going to be going in the future.
AI is exponential technology. So one of my favorite charts, I don't have a chart in front of me, but imagine a slope that just goes whoop, straight vertically up. If you guys feel and witness the progress in the last 2 years, last 3 to 6 months alone.
Last week.
in the last 6 months, one of the biggest arguments against AI being good is AI can't think or reason. So then ChatGPT and DeepSeek dropped AI that could think and reason, that heavily increased the capabilities and the power, that heavily increased the capabilities like coding, like reasoning, like problem solving that AI previously couldn't do, and basically shattered the ceiling of what people thought was not possible. Now, the most recent research on that whole AI thinking and research shows that there's not really a ceiling, and the more power and the more compute you give it, the smarter and more intelligent the models are, which we are feeling because in the last 3 months we had O1 drop, or in the last 6 months we had O1 drop. 3 months later we had O3 drop, which was a very fat leap. And then we had Claude 4 drop and Gemini 2.5 Pro, and these are all models that could think and reason. And the capabilities and output these models could all provide now are just so exceptionally well that they are more reliable. I wouldn't instantly rely on them, but they are highly reliable. They output better quality code. And I think in the next 6 months.
6
3 months? 1 year? I don't know. Timelines are so fuzzy. It doesn't really matter. But we are rapidly getting to a point where, AI could do, I want to say everything, because I haven't been in a scenario that AI couldn't do
that. AI
yet.
couldn't do it.
It's a lot of people are like, oh, we can't do this. But if you build the proper systems around it, the way I look at LLMs like ChatGPT or Claude is it's a brain. It's the ability for a computer to cognitively function and think. That is probably the hardest piece of the equation that humans solved in the last 2 years. Bro, you gave a brain to a machine, and if you just give it a bunch of unstructured data, it could look through all of it and understand how to use that data and do proper function calls and read through it and process it. So if you build systems that support these AI brains, I like to call them exoskeletons, AI agents, and you put a brain into that system, into that architecture, it can do a lot that it couldn't previously do.
Yeah, and I think one of the things as someone who's not as in AI as you are, obviously, is it feels overwhelming with all these new things constantly coming out.
Oh, I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed, bro. And I'm in this space, so I can't even imagine.
And like you said, it's one of those things where things that we didn't even think were possible are all of a sudden becoming possible.
What fascinates you about AI ongoing?
Well,
like you watched the videos and heard about vibe coding. What is enticing to you?
Well, I think what's super enticing for me is I've been running my own project for a while now, and I think very similar to you. It's actually funny how funny our stories are, because I was into reselling.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah?
I was into different cook groups.
Yeah, the cook
flipping
groups.
sub bots, whatever. Getting into even sneakers and reselling. Like, I did all that shit, and that's how I got into NBA Top Shots, which got me into crypto. But like, long story short, as a founder, I'm just constantly trying to figure out ways how I can level up myself, which will then like level up my project and business.
Yeah,
and I feel
pretty
like,
much one.
Yeah, and I feel like the fastest way to sort of level up is through education. And that education is becoming so widely available with AI. And it feels like there's all these tools that are coming out, even as someone that doesn't know how to code at all. I'm now able to go into Cursor, for example, or I can design my own website. And it's one of those things that someone can now do what it used to take 50 people to be able to do.
As a one person.
And that's just like, I'm noticing that just like ramp up. So it's like, as a founder, I almost have this FOMO of like, oh my gosh, I need to be on top of this, or I'm gonna be left behind, or I'm not gonna actually be on the wave that I feel like I need to be.
Yeah, the FOMO part hits. I have a couple clients whose like sole reason for hitting us up is, I'm scared, bro. I'm scared of being left behind. Like, I don't want to get lapped. I'm like, I got you. So yeah, it's interesting, the FOMO part. Yeah.
So what do you do with your agency?
So we do a mixture of things. We do developer work. We do AI consulting. I'll often host just AI workshops where it really depends on the package or the company needs. But let's say that, a company has 50 employees. I will get the gist of how their company works, what their employees do, and I will take them through a workshop on how to use AI. Oh, you're doing research. This is how you do research with AI. This is how you generate images with AI. This is how you can speed up some workflow you're doing with AI. We'll work with companies and see where they could use AI to improve, and we'll teach them exactly how to do it. And also developer work. So if someone needs AI agents, a lot of what we do, a product we have and we're working on is autonomous marketing agents that automates outreach, social media posting, community retention. And oftentimes people will want custom agents for themselves. So we'll work with them on building all of that out.
And to go back to me and kind of my struggles and desires of getting into AI, it seems like there's other founders like myself that reach out to your agency and they're trying to figure out, okay, how can I improve? Mm-hmm. What do you think is the number one sort of improvement that AI can bring into like founders and business owners' lives that you've personally been recommending that AI can have the largest impact on?
ChatGPT deep research.
ChatGPT deep research.
That is the number one tool I would recommend people to heavily app, because it does research. It does market research, product research. If you're working with developers, it does research on what APIs are available. That's mostly what I use it for, is hey, I have this idea, do research on what APIs are available, how we could integrate this into code. And then I have my AI agents vibe code it from that research. And 100% of the time so far, they've nailed it because we already did the research. They don't have to. They don't have to guess.
So just doing the research. And is there any advice on the questions you should be asking and like how you actually prompt that research?
Not really. I guess just a personal usage perspective is I will use ChatGPT deep research. So for example, who am I targeting? You literally nailed it in an interview. It's like, I'm a founder and I have FOMO because I don't want to be left behind. I'll have ChatGPT do research on where I could find these founders, what copy hits for people who feel that way, where to reach out, how to find them, what kind of content I should be outputting to attract that specific audience. So it helps with psychological research, market research, coding research, and even I just like learning things in general, and just any research. And what's nice is if you put it in a prompt, it asks you questions to follow up, which enhances the prompt. because the AI knows
Yeah.
exactly what you want because it asks you questions that you answered. That's also like a general rule of thumb is if you're prompting ChatGPT or any AI, it helps a lot if you say, oh, ask me questions. If you're like, ask me questions to clarify what I want. And then it comes up with questions that could help.
And sort of the last question I have for you, and I love asking this from other founders, is like, where do you hope to personally see yourself in the future, and what are your goals going into this?
Maybe the #1 AI content creator. I just want to I want to see a superhuman society. I want to be in space, bro. I want to explore the stars. I want like a game I could plant in my head and enter sort of online or some crazy future tech universe. We could get all of that if more people are less afraid of AI and understand how to use it and are open to using it, because I personally been heavily accelerated. I can't even imagine if majority of humanity accepts this and also becomes heavily accelerated. Because to me, it's a superpower. So I enjoy teaching the superpower to other people.
If someone wanted to get into AI and like be on top of this space more, what's sort of your advice for people that are listening?
I would say the first thing you could do is talk to ChatGPT, like interact with ChatGPT, talk to it, mess with the different functionality that exists, generate an image with ChatGPT, ask it a question, have it help you with homework, have it help you do research on a task or something you're assigned, and start getting used to communicating with an AI system, getting a result back, and furthering that communication. I also have my YouTube channel where I teach people how to vibe code, which is just coding with AI by using English and speaking, which is really fun. And I also have a Discord where I have an AI news bot that scrapes Twitter, has an AI summarize all the news. And it's still overwhelming because there's just so much news, but it helps a bit.
And the channel is Bootoshi.
Yeah, Bootoshi on YouTube.
Bootoshi. Wow. Love it.
Yeah, appreciate it.